What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Evan Aldo here. Let me it looks like we're good with how everything is kind of set up right now, and I did a video for you guys earlier today or last night, depending on where in the world you guys are. But ultimately, as you can see here, the latest trades, I hope everything's working okay in terms of viewers. The view count's really low right now, but hopefully we'll get more people kind of in the seat. And yeah, so ultimately about 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, right now, Monday morning on, yeah, about an hour after New York Open. So the ETH trade is doing pretty well. Potentially could jump higher. Funding fees are not too bad at the moment. Everything generally still looks good right now, guys. And yeah, so it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, all this good stuff. And yeah, let's put the little trade here so you guys can see it. And we'll move this guy down just a little bit here. And yeah, okay. Put this upward. And there you go. So a little bit, I forgot that I wasn't even looking at this one. What the first thing I wanted to actually look at, I forget what this was. Yeah, some of these trying to fight back down from that low, but that looks pretty good. You know, it's in terms of like what you think of Ethereum right now, and that meant to be the charts. Let's go back there, and yeah, so there's that one right about there. And then this potential trigger wave kind of forming is what should, you know, what's up, Eric? What should keep going upward? You know, if you could look at this and do something with this, then get up to like 4,500, something along those lines. I think you got a linear right there. I mean, when you're in just a big uptrend and your funding fees are okay, and it doesn't look like a crazy amount of people are going to generally long, yet you should be able to keep going. I don't really see a reason why you shouldn't be able to keep going. So yeah, what's up, Wonderbar? Appreciate you guys showing up to the live stream. So yeah, ultimately, we look at this, you know, potentially going forward, and then Bitcoin eyeing a new all-time high as well. A little bit of a drop downward, but trying to jump off of these areas right there. So nothing looks too bad. I would say, I guess Bitcoin, there's a little bit more concern for Ethereum, but what we usually see and would like to see in this scenario is Bitcoin going kind of sideways, choppy, boring, while Ethereum, you know, does well, you know, comes up and all that good stuff. So, and that's kind of what it's looking like on your ETH Bitcoin evaluation right there. So yeah, and if we look at, you know, just a few others, you know, crypto.com, it's still down from December highs. Ethereum just got above its December highs pretty recently, so it's a good thing to look at. Cardano still below it. Solana still below it, working its way upward. Chainlink still, so most things are obviously still below it. Others as a whole gonna still be below it. But if you can break above here, potentially for others, can you see in the next few months 700 billion? I think it's possible. You know, if the average thing can do like a 2x in that amount of time, then yes, I think it's absolutely possible. So yeah, and and then this, you know, others versus Bitcoin, others versus ETH, a lot of good potential stuff happening. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty optimistic on this right now. Just thinking about it here. So yeah, potentially coming up a little bit more. And Polygon, a few of these. I would say reverse head and shoulders should form. You should eventually jump upward here. Obviously a big depressor, big disappointment coin, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. It definitely is what it is. So you look at this, and I mean, yeah, potentially jumping up a little bit more here. Crypto.com, that one we looked at. And I just want to look at triple Q. Look at the NASDAQ. And this one, you know, potentially keeps looking like you could keep going. We got too much stuff open. So yeah. Anyway, so when we look at here, when we look at here, let's see. Top is going to be in September, October, based on interest rate cuts, or is this something where we need to keep watching the charts and selling extreme greed? All of the above, but Joel, so that's a good question. Let me see if I can find the chart that it kind of explains a couple things first from a TA perspective. I think it's this one, yeah. So if you look at how many bars it was from like bear market bottoms to next highs, and also the same amount of time from the halving to the, you know, each halving to the top of the bull market, it's about 150, a little bit less those two times. Could be more, could be less this time. I have no idea. But according to that, you're looking at like, ooh, actually that would be, if it's a couple bars less, it will be right around beginning of October, right around that area. So that's possible. Maybe it'll be more. Maybe it'll, I don't know. That's one thing. You also got interest rate cuts. In all likelihood, going to be in, what is it, mid to later September. I forget the exact date on that. Let's actually look at that. I got that here, I think. Yeah, so if we look at that, September 17th. So it could be around there a few weeks after. Maybe you get a little mania phase for a couple weeks after that, and then that's the end, the beginning of October. I don't know. If this somehow gets delayed, I would feel more confident saying that. And you get a pause in September and you don't get your first rate cut until October, I'd be a little bit more confident, like saying that, what was I going to say? That this would be like, yeah, that would be the like mark the end of the bull run, kind of, where things potentially peak out. So yeah. So fear and greed, let's actually take a little look at that right here. I don't know. I mean, based on what you look at here, to get to like extreme greed, it could be, you know, a month in all likelihood. It's taken its time. You know, from there, that's about a month. It could go up quick though, man. I mean, it could, you know, it's a little month and a half, you know, it could be any amount of time like that. Like if it's a month, you know, September is generally your red month in the post-halving year. So if it's a month, you may come down in September and then you recover in October and to end a year maybe, if it's a more extended cycle. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I do think a few things what I always like to look at here, guys, is the 3-week on ETH for one. That's one thing that's good to look at for, you know, potential like, you know, peak, because, you know, you look at kind of a high anchor wave or a, you know, red dot above the zero line, trigger anchor wave. I guess it's all been pretty much anchor waves in Q4. Well, this is January of 18. You know, once that confirmed, if you got it right when it confirmed, you would have sold at 800, which was pretty damn good, a lot better than 80. You know, same thing kind of here, Q4 red dot there, December. So that was about a month earlier. And it did peak out earlier, I know that, but you know, if you got on that confirmation, you got out around 3,900, a hell of a lot better than getting out at, you know, $1,000. And then if we see something similar here, you know, say we come up to 7,000 in, you know, October, you get that red dot. I mean, what would this likely look like? I mean, in terms of VWAP, because when VWAP crosses zero, like November maybe, you know, you wait till that confirms, that's probably the place to get the hell out of probably everything. I mean, depending on when. But unless you think we're going up to like freaking 20K, you know, super cycle, all that. But that's pretty unlikely. I'll tell you that much. You know, I mean, these big money, big people, I mean, they're more long term. Like they're going for the next 5 years. Like, you know, they got more money. It's not like you where, you know, you can't afford to wait 3 years. You got to pay bills and stuff. No, I mean, I don't mean like you. I'm kidding. But I mean, like, you know, the average, it's not like the average person a lot of times, you know, they got time. You know, same with like people that bought in, you know, 2021 at 50K. They had time. Yeah, so let's see. This early rate cut cycles are actually an indication top for the stock market is very near. 2000, 2008. So the thing there is that was the bad decade, man. What I am, if you look at like cycles and theories just based on previous things, there's that like farmer almanac chart or whatever the hell. That's probably not the right name of it. Forget what it's called, but 2026 would be kind of the bad year. I mean, 2022 was the bad year. It's every 4 years in one opinion, different ways like that. I don't think that, you're going to get an '08 style crash or a 2000 style recession. That was a bad decade. And normally you have 2 good decades after that. You can. I mean, it's definitely possible. I would think it would be more likely that you would see that in, 2030, like the 2030s or something. You know what I mean? That would be more. Plus, it's always plus minus a few years. Like, I guess it's possible. Like, I'm going to de-risk a lot, for 2026. But I think that, I would keep a lot like S&P 500, some gold, maybe some bonds. Like S&P 500 and gold are, I think, the best way to go for, trying to hold on and then getting back into crypto when Bitcoin's hopefully at 50K or something towards the end of, 2026. So then if you could, if we look at, for example, we could look at, I'm just curious about like I know with the TLT you got compound interest, so it's kind of hard to really calculate. It's not a crazy amount, but if you look at the times, the TLT outperformed Bitcoin, from the tops to the bottoms. Okay, 82% there. This is essentially kind of comparing it to the dollar in a lot of ways. 66% there, and this was probably even greater. 89% there. You want to know, we kind of want to look at what's bled like the most or what's outperformed. That wouldn't even be, actually, let's look at it the opposite way because I had some stuff drawn out that you guys might be interested in seeing it, especially for like gold and like Bitcoin versus gold or Bitcoin versus SPY. Very similar situation though, really. The thing with the S&P 500 is like if that goes down, everyone's kind of screwed, not just you, so you don't look like an idiot, you know what I mean? Everything else, it's kind of like, oh, this wasn't even, no, that was this one, okay. That's the thing. The diminished returns on this are kind of 800, 5, That's an interesting. Oh, no, this is actually even less than I thought. Hold on, let me do this shit. 200, 5, okay. So, I don't know. Maybe 100 this time. It's about half. I don't know. Maybe 100 this time. Like, it gets less and less as kind of Bitcoin gets more mainstream and all that. That doesn't mean that, it can't switch and do better if you go into like an 8-year bear market or some shit, But let's look at, I don't know, for example, like gold versus Bitcoin, because I know, people will like crypto. What's like the second best thing people would like, involving that, maybe gold, other hard assets, I don't know, real estate, but probably more so gold. And, 650, so that's interesting here because gold outperformed it more in 200, 480. So I'm just looking at this pattern, 260. Okay, is this similar there? I don't know. If you're going by uptrends, you'd probably be gold, unless you think that interest rates are really gonna, go down. I would think gold. It's tough to say, man. I don't like what is better, gold or TLT in the frickin', like, does bonds do better than gold, like in '08 in those scenarios? Like, let's just see here. We know that the TLT generally bleeds against gold, so when in doubt, I would say pick the gold. You do have compound interest on the TLT though, but that's only for a year, depending on how long you hold that. The last time you did 98%. That like okay. So if you think it's gonna be catastrophic, probably TLT would do better than gold. Probably so. If you think it's gonna be not that bad and just like one of those still. I would probably go with gold. I would probably do gold and SPY, That's what I would kind of be looking at. Gold versus SPY is interesting. It's a boring freaking chart. It does have its, peaks and valleys. The 2-month is interesting because that's going into the green, similar to how it did last year. So we could be at this situation. This is very interesting. This would kind of equate to like, because you did that would kind of equate to like, this area maybe like right here. I think it would equate to a little bit like 90, like coming into that precursor, because you're like right there, and then it didn't really peak out till. So if we did this, I'm just thinking through, that's 26, so only a year based on that. I don't know. Like I would almost think this would be kind of sideways until stock market really does bad. This could kind of almost equate to 26 being like your real like bad nightmare year. So I definitely want some exposure to gold, but I don't know how much, tough to say, man. I mean, you look at it here, like it, really came up quite a bit. It's 800%, against 800% against a SPY. I mean, look at that. That's just insane. And that was a damn good decade. You would have had 800% your SPY gains, 800 times. No SPY gain, but you know what I mean. So yeah. Oh, what's up, Brainstorm? I think I remember who you are. Yeah, AVAX I think is the AVAX versus ETH. Look at this, man. Right here, that bottom 23. I think AVAX is a great buy right now, and I think it should be bottoming out against ETH relatively soon if it hasn't already. We'll see what happens. It could just, we don't know. I mean, it could just lose every potential piece of hope here, but I would have some hope for AVAX, Let's see. Silver like that upper from gold next few years. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that probably. If you want something more stable in like a bear market, you kind of want to go for, I think gold, but I don't know. It depends how much risk and all that you want to take. So yeah. Been holding AVAX for over a year. I think it's at this point you just want to hold for, a few more months and just kind of see, so that's kind of the thing there. Right to that point. So, yeah. Yeah, other thing too we could look at, NASDAQ versus gold or gold versus NASDAQ. I mean, the thing with that is it's just like, it's tough to say here. I mean, I don't know. I guess 26 could be the real bad year if shit gets really bad. I don't think we're there yet, though. I think that's more of a 2030s type deal. I'm just looking at like historical type. Maybe we want to wait till that monthly goes into the green. Yeah. Because the thing, too, is like the NASDAQ's really the new S&P 500 or will become that. I mean, that's kind of the dominant thing. I mean, I know you talk to certain people like, I lost money in it because I held it for 2 months. And, it bled against the S&P 500 when I held it for the 2 months. I'm never buying it again. Yeah, I mean, people are just so stupid sometimes. But yeah, teach their own. Maybe they're smart. Maybe they're missing something. Maybe it'll, bleed a lot against S&P 500. It probably will in the 2030s, but who knows? But let's see here. So you got like gold versus NASDAQ, right there. I mean, if you're waiting until green, it was 02, and then that's the thing too. Like you did outperform a lot of it here, quite a bit, but it was like in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I guess that's the thing that's interesting too, because NASDAQ doesn't have as much compound interest as, S&P 500. There still is, 1% or something? But if you really look at the gold evaluation versus there, I mean, yeah. I mean, NASDAQ has outperformed it for a while. I don't know. My guess here is that something of this nature. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Because if you just kind of, let's just take a standard frickin', like, where would this bring us out to if we were to, okay, like there, I don't know, towards the end of the decade. I mean, that's kind of what I'm guessing. Like, and then maybe a bounce around there to throw people off, gold still outperforms NASDAQ or whatever, but yeah. Because it has from there. I think it'll eventually bleed farther. Yeah, so I don't know if you're there yet, man. I don't like gold NASDAQ. I think you got a little. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, what signs could we be looking at here for a potential final turnaround? I mean, I don't know. Green. No, I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. I think it's gonna keep bleeding for now. Litecoin. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at Litecoin. Hope you guys are doing well. I always appreciate you guys smashing the like button and all that good stuff. Litecoin, I think, could do, I'm just curious about the jump from there to there, 200%. So 3x, I think it's doable. I think you're at least going to double. I don't know if you're going to get up to 400, but I think you could double. You know, if you get that mania phase, you'll probably jump up close to 400 or something, at least probably 300, you know. Well, at least 200, I should say. Litecoin is not a freaking, I mean, it's one of those that just keeps bleeding against Bitcoin. I mean, you still made a lower low like a month ago. So it's not like, you know, it's a piece of junk basically, but we'll finally bottom out. We'll see. And then ETH is probably even freaking worse now. I mean, okay, well, still a bottom there, but still. Yeah, maybe it'll jump against ETH. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if gold is really going to be the major. Like, I'm going to buy some of it, you know, for the 2026, but I might be a little bit heavier S&P 500, just that like conservative, you know, retirement type portfolio type thing, just for the bear market year, and we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. You know, I mean, maybe 70% SPY, 30% gold. If you can just double that Bitcoin evaluation, I mean, that would be good. You know, assuming Bitcoin does like a 75% correction, it's hard to say, man. I mean, I don't know. Is this where super cycle starts? I mean, probably not, but it could be. I mean, let's just say super cycle happens. You know, let's just follow the freaking, you know, trajectory upward. You still would only be looking at by end of decade, well, 400, okay. It'd probably be a much diminished. You'd probably see more. It probably would be more like this, let's say. Let's be more, yeah, how we've done more like recent performance. End of decade, it would probably be this spiral line. And I think it would be regardless of like, yeah, 500. That seems too high though. It's probably more like a 300 type game. Probably more like that situation with the bear market and all that. Yeah, I'd say 300 to 400. You know, is my kind of guess. 500 seems a little bit too high. I think 300 to 400 would be like end of decade goals. You know, I mean, what would that be? Like a double from here, $4 to $5 trillion market cap, and then everybody says it's going to 10 trillion, and that doesn't happen until like the 2040s, 2050s. I mean, that's kind of what I would guess. You know. So yeah. Trying to get that jump there, maybe. Litecoin. Okay, so that was that one. Let's just see what's going on and like with all this stuff, you know, right now. Okay, NFTs are doing a little bit. Mutant Apes almost up to 2/8. I mean, ETH valuation abysmal, but 8,400. I mean, we'll take it. Better than freaking 2K or 4K, wherever it may have been. I think I bought mine for like 12K, so it's still not that great, but you know, I mean, it's not the I don't think we're gonna see a super cycle now. Unlikely. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Gary V. Those have had some volatility. So I think that could come up a little bit. Let's actually look at ApeCoin. That's kind of been lackluster, I think, right? Nothing. Well, okay, 60 cents. Yeah, not too much. Not too much. Yeah. Undo. Jumping up there, yeah. I think it'll go up more. Yeah, I bet that's the one. Yeah, there's another one people have been talking about. I forget the name of it or whatever, but I think SBet's the main bet on it. The more trying to do what MicroStrategy did. It's more speculative than MicroStrategy. I don't think they have the Michael Saylor, spokesman type thing, but well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think you get up to two. I don't know if you get. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense to get a freaking. I mean, ETH doing. Let's say ETH hits 8,000. I mean, what could this do? There's leverage, but not that much. I mean, 100. I don't know. It's so speculative, man. Oh yeah, BM. Yeah, that's the. Yep, that's the other one. A lot of dumb money has been talking about this. So we'll see what happens here. This one is very freaking. I mean, just look, it did a 10x in a few days. Like, I mean, and then it crashed. I mean, this is just pure, like, I mean, most meme coins don't even operate this crazy. I don't know what this was before. What Tom Lee's behind that. I don't know. I have no clue on this, guys. I can't. It's just I'm not. This isn't really my forte. Stuff that's this volatile. There's gonna be a ton of volatility. I mean, maybe it could go up higher. I don't know. I mean, I would try to, like, you look at previous highs, but then you're less like that's the 10x. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's messy today. Okay. True wave right there. Hopefully this week, 46 to 4,800, maybe new all-time high. 5,100 is kind of my highest for, like, this month, I guess. And then I think we'll be back in, like, I don't know, like, freaking, I think we'll come back to 35 or 36 or 37 at some point in September. If we do repeat what I think we'll repeat. I mean, we're not that far off of freaking, what do we have to jump from right here to get to 7,000? 60%. That's not that much for crypto. I mean, you're only down. What are you down from old all-time high right now? Like, this is not, 10%. Only 10%. And the thing too is, like, you'd probably be down based on inflation, but if you bought the exact all-time high and staked this after I mean, you'd be up 10% just staking it all, or more than that. You know what I mean? You realize that factor too. Oh yeah, H-bar, yeah. That's a good one to look at. I still have a little bit of H-bar. That's actually a bigger time frame. Thinking here. Yeah, I don't. Money flow pretty good. Yeah, I think you might be able to get up to 90 cents. Maybe, yeah, 3 to 4. It could be doable. I like how this looks. I mean, at least probably 59 cents, that old all-time high, or at least, maybe $1, maybe $1.40. I think it looks pretty good. I think it'll do well. Let's see. ARB's got some potential. That one everybody was all over, and then it, like, nuked so badly. It's a new one, yeah. We'll see what happens. I think this time it'll finally turn around. We'll see if it can live up to the hype finally. I don't know though, but we'll see. $1.76 is potential. There's definitely potential here. So yeah. And let's see. Let me look at OP. There's a few of these I haven't even thought about lately. Bubble pop pattern. Yeah, $1 at least. I think it'll come up too. Metis, I forget. Is that AI? I don't even know what the hell this is. I forgot about this one. I've heard of it though. Yeah, I don't know if I'm. Oh, what did I do? That looks like it'll probably, this one I'm a little more hesitant on, but it'll probably jump here as well. Let's see. The GME holds Bitcoin, yeah. Max amount of money I would trust leaving in Coinbase. I mean, if you got burned on BloFin, okay. Yeah. Let me think. Well, if you got the Coinbase like Platinum thing or Coinbase One that you pay for, it's insured up to $1 million theoretically. I don't know. I mean, it depends how much trust you have in it. I mean, how much trust do you have that your keys are safe on your ledger and all that? But you know, I mean, if you want to be really careful, yeah, it's going to be safer on a hardware wallet. I mean, you know, any Coinbase account. I mean, you know, it's not really. You know, it's the same. If you have $1 million on there, or if you have $1,000 on Coinbase, probably the same odds of getting hacked. I mean, nobody's going to know until they get into the account. You know, I would say, I mean, I forget. I don't use Ledger personally. But I mean, if you wanted to sell it, do you have to move it off your Ledger and then into Coinbase? Does Ledger have its own kind of exchange to sell? I think you got to move it off a Ledger and into Coinbase, right? So I don't know. Oh, you're talking about like moving it from Ledger to Coinbase to sell? You might want to look into Kraken too. If you're just looking to sell, they seem to have slightly better fees. Kraken is pretty good. I like Kraken a lot. I started using them a few months ago, and I like Kraken. You know what I mean? So that's a good one. Kraken Pro. You got to use the Pro thing on there, which is easy. But you know. So yeah. Yeah, those areas on ETH. Yeah, ETH on 7,300. But yeah, the thing too is like, yeah, none of those confused on taxes. I mean, some of that doesn't even track it too well. If you're moving stuff from Coinbase to, it depends where you bought it. If you still got those numbers, you know, would you buy it for and would you sell it for? Those are two numbers you need theoretically. You know, some of them track it, some of them don't. So yeah. I mean, if you just kept it all on Coinbase and sold it there, they kind of track it for you. Crypto.com is pretty good too. I think Kraken's a bit better. I got some Crow on Crypto.com. That's why I have that one. It's done well recently. You know, that's been doing pretty well, jumping up. I mean, back to those, you know, close to those later 2024 highs where, and that was like a really mild, you know, kind of mania phase there. But I'm just like, wow, that profile just keeps coming up. It's a gift that keeps on giving. I just looked at that one on my. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Do you got any of you know the reference of that? You may. That's a tougher reference. It's a gift that keeps on giving. But yeah. Let's see here. DXY. Dixie probably will come up. I don't know if that's too much of an issue. I do not care about what the Dixie does. It's more, that thing is more useful when you look at it against like different evaluations. Like against Bitcoin, I feel like it's more useful, you know what I mean? it's like a good like indicator of like power or adjusted for inflation. If we can get up there 100% from the last all-time high. It's a dig. That really was like a pure double top, slightly, above. 80% though, down. 84, 80. If you look at that pattern, 76 from wherever the hell we peak out, probably here. Well, it could be less, but that would bring you back to what, evaluation 48K. That would be my guess. And where's this? This is probably December, right? Yeah. Or no, that's October. Okay. A lot would have to happen though, but a lot does happen quickly if you can get up to some of these numbers, What's up, Crypto Night? So yeah. But I always appreciate you guys smashing a like button. If you guys are interested in trading, check out BloFin, down below, up to 100K deposit and trade bonus, 20% off your fees for life. Only my link pinned chat. Bitunix, 20% off your fees for life as well, 100K worth of bonuses for you guys. And BYDFI as well. Nice deposit bonus, 20% off your fees for life. If you guys sign up to any of these links down below, deposit at least $100, I'll give you 1 free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. Just open a support ticket there with your UID or your email, and we'll get you sorted with the free month. So yeah, 2-week bear div with kind of money flow coming in. That's where it gets a little bit scary, but because that's kind of how it ended there. But I think we're more. That's interesting. That was September too. And then you had one more kind of jump up. So it's like maybe the next one, yeah. But let's see. This is what we want to compare this to. Okay, so it was September, yeah, 3-week too. And you had one more. The thing is too, like getting out right there was not the worst thing in the world. It did go up a lot more, but still. Monthly maybe? I don't know. Monthly, that monthly you're probably not going to see until October. I don't think you'd see that in September unless you really come down. What's up, Crypto Night? Appreciate the dollar. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, crypto, yeah. Tax deferred, I mean, there's that. I mean, if you're in those, that's usually buying the, the ETF or whatever, what a lot of people do. The staking ETF is interesting in ETH. Does anyone know when's that supposed to come out? The ETH staking ETF. Curious. Let's actually look at ETH Dixie. This is where it gets interesting, yeah, because you're still below. Okay, so same thing on the all-time high. Interesting how you hit that point right there. But let's see. Right there. I mean, that's probably the. Oops. What did I just do? I thought I marked that. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. That's your 7,000 or maybe 8,000. I don't know, yeah, that kind of area right there. October, you're thinking of, yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, man. Okay, so the ETH versus Dixie is probably that 3-week, man. I'm trying to think previous. Sorry, you don't have enough data, but that's the January, and then that one was more. Yeah, so it's like the Q4 one. Even that, well, that was Q2. No, that one, okay. Yeah. The thing too is like, what was this correction based on the freaking? Yeah. And the volatility, this is just nuts sometimes, but 73 from that high there. And what was this correction here on the Dixie? 83, kind of a little worse than Bitcoin, but not that much worse. Yeah, I mean, bear divs on them. Okay, I mean, you're gonna get it, in September maybe. Yeah, you probably get that bear div. That doesn't mean it's a longer 4-day bear div. That's not I'm more about the higher time frames. I'm not going to base it off that, but it could be right. Yeah, it could be right. We could top it at any point. Who knows? But you know, yeah. What are we doing right now? I think we're, yeah, dilly down around. We should be able to jump up eventually, though. Curious about ETH. Well, ETH ETF. Yeah, most people are probably ahead about this now, which that's good. Finally, kind of backed up to these points. That's a big, decent area right there. It looks like based on that 2-day, you'll pop right through. You know what I mean? Pop through that 2-day and get up to these. Is right at September. I don't know. Might take a little bit longer. If you want to get really funky with it, really crazy with it, and that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's actually only, yeah, if we're at 40, that's only, yeah, that's 7K about. Yeah, that's not, that's my goal. Yeah. 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 I'm not too bearish yet, man. That'd be depressing if 42s, 4,200 for ETH is the end. Do I think ETH will probably? Yeah, no, probably. At least probably a rejection from the old all-time high before a significant correction. But I mean, obviously anything could happen. I mean, but I would give it like a 70-80% chance at least, maybe higher, maybe even 90. I mean, it's something that looks pretty likely. I'll say that. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else I want to look at right now. I mean, there's not too much else really, I don't think. I mean, we could look at some big, what's been doing well the past, week. That's NFTs. Oh, that's one I want to look at. It's probably still down though compared to where it was. Yeah, it's like fighting back, but it's still, still kind of down. Had a little downside there, so we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin Cash, that could be. The thing I want to look at, yeah, Bitcoin Cash was interesting because, again, it's not something I really care about or am very bullish on, but this is where it gets really interesting. This is like, and that would be kind of right around your next technical target. That could be, yeah, sometime in Q4. You hit that area at 900 or something. That's it. That's probably what this will do, in all likelihood. I want to look at XLM, Stellar Lumens. This is another one that's come back from the dead, but I don't know. This may not do much. This may only get up to 60 cents and repeat that kind of situation. So yeah. What's up, Alice the Camel? Nice name. So yeah. How's the British pound doing? They did some stuff to make this go higher back in 22. I remember that. Kind of worked. Taiba USD. Let's actually look at that. Oh, did that just come out? No, yeah, it's not. There's only one. It's probably. That's more. Yeah, there. Just curious about. USD's come down on that pair a bit. Yeah, it was higher a little while ago. It's come down, but not. It's not a lot though. 10%. It'll probably come back too. Tourism's been down. Euro has been I would think now we're getting towards the end. Well, midsummer, I guess. But everybody goes to Europe. That probably brings it up a little bit. The summer tourism, but now it's probably going to come back down a little bit. Bullish divs and Bitcoin dominance. I mean, I think that Bitcoin could break to 130, and ETH could still outperform it up to new all-time high or whatever. So Bitcoin dominance, I think it may come up a little bit in September. I wouldn't get too excited. I think this is generally done. Like it'll have its fun here and there, but this should come down quite a bit more. And I could see this coming down into October, like down to 47 potentially. At this point, it seems impossible, but we'll see. We'll definitely have to see. A couple things I wanted to look at. Total 3, and this is like one of these kind of weird charts, you know. Kind of alts versus Bitcoin. Let's take a look-see. Bring down the monthly. I don't know. Money flow not too good, but coming up there. This one's tough to say. I feel like this should be bottomed by now. 3-week would tell you it's bottomed. It's kind of 50-50. I think you can make higher lows here generally. Because if you don't count COVID, this kind of has, you know, count the black swan. I mean, this is kind of what you're looking for here. I know some, you know, people who are more bearish in alts wouldn't like this, but I think it probably. Oh, Sailor bought more Bitcoin? Okay. I wonder if that's on liberal CNBC. Interesting. I wonder what's going to happen there. Trying to get the homelessness out of DC. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Could he do that? Could Trump classify it as a... Does he have the power to do that? Or is that... Doesn't he need Congress? That's the thing, too, with, like, pot stocks. Has anyone actually made money with pot stocks? I feel like they haven't done that as well as people would have thought with all the legalization yet. To pass a federal law, don't they need... They need Congress, although Congress may... Includes steroids and Tylenol. Yeah, it's probably at that level, I would guess. Or so it's Schedule 2, isn't it? Pay a combat. Executive order? Huh. It does look like I'm in Asia, and you are right. I think I know who you are. Yeah. I think I remember you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's look at SWE. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll eventually jump up. You can see this at $7 or so. That looks pretty good, yeah. Curious about, yeah, let's look at like SWE ETH. That's like the one that actually, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, could go down a little bit more. That's 6-day or whatever. Should jump. Right there. Should jump up a bit. Eventually. I mean, a couple more weeks. I think once ETH makes a new all-time high, and you're getting damn close, that could be this week, next week, you know. Once you get that, I think that alts probably will start to outperform ETH. Because people, you know, people are just like, oh no, ETH is old news, you know what I mean? But then alts kind of outperform it. So that's that. You know, is what it is, guys. I'm looking for 4,600. Been on almost an hour now. I'm probably going to get going. 10:30 p.m. right here. Trades are doing pretty well. I appreciate you. What's up, Southern Gen 81? If ETH ETF is staked by year end, would I hold? No, that doesn't affect what I do. No, I would maybe even view that as a sell signal. I mean, that doesn't mean I think ETH is going to fail. That's bullish long term, but I still think you're going to go through the bear market, man. I mean, you know, I still think you're going to, that doesn't affect nothing. I mean, the news, The thing too is news doesn't mean too much to me, man. I'm not a fundamental guy. I don't even think, like I was talking about the other day, like, why do people buy the S&P 500? I mean, they buy it because it's low volatile and trends up over time. I mean, sure, yeah, fundamentals are cool, but if it could have the same, what if it had the same fundamentals and that you didn't do well for the past, 30 years? Nobody would buy it. You know what I mean? It's more about technicals. It's more about cycles. It's more about that. Not to say that, you should buy something like a meme coin just because it's trending upward. Well, sometimes you should, but, I mean, it depends. Use a little bit of that. But, at the end of the day, I mean, even people don't have too much. You look at people that buy like these small caps, and I mean, they're buying them based on fundamentals. You got to buy like 5 or 10 of them, and then usually a few of them do pretty well, and you can outperform the SPY. If a few of them do well, a few of them was zero, a few of them do nothing, usually then you can outperform the S&P 500. And that's the main goal of all this. But technicals are the big thing, that the way I do things. I'm not saying you can't do it any other way, but technicals are big. Momentum and all that. So yeah. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to look at? I don't know if there really was. I think that's about it, really, guys. I mean, it looks pretty good overall. What's my thought about ETH? Well, we'll end it on that, I guess. I think it could jump up to this point. Things look decent. I mean, anything could happen, obviously, but I think we'll generally hold these areas and continue forward on some of these trigger waves and whatnot. That one right there. Up to 45 I'm looking for. So yeah, anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna get going and get a little tired here. Hope you guys got something out of this update. Always appreciate you guys smashing the like button and tuning in, subscribing to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at RealEvanAldo, Instagram at evan.aldo, and last but not least, if you're interested in trading, a lot of good promos I got for you. 20% off your fees for life on BYDFI and on BloFin, and some good deposit and trading bonuses, and then 25% off your fees for life over on Bitunix with a good deposit bonus as well. So check it out if you guys are interested.